It wrote his name wrong on his shirt. Okay.
Alright, cue it up. I actually started the video already.
Shiver me pixels! Welcome to Splitting Wires. I'm your host, Austin, and this is my co-host, James of Z.
What are we talking about? Your face.
Okay.
Alright, Spark, guilty, 349. What are you doing?
343 guilty Spark. Was it 434?
One of the two.
Bungie.
Correct us in the comments below.
Alright, we are talking about the Halo universe and the
Toss us
series
a like if you love
itself.
Halo.
And I sure would love me some Halo.
I love some original Halo.
I love me some Halo 1, 2, and 3, even ODST and Reach. But then we got to 4. But first, before we talk about the bullshit, let's talk about the good shit. Let's talk about 1, 2, and 3, ODST, and Reach. Halo 1. When I was a kid, I did not understand it, but my brothers loved it to death.
It was the greatest game ever. When you got it, it was the first game. Oh my god! And you're playing it through in the Silent Cartographer level, my favorite level, and then you the other levels that what was the one with the
Delta
snow
Halo.
level? Oh my gosh! The first Halo was the best co-op
Actually, I think it
game
was the second
ever. So fun, just because you could beat it. It had just the right level of complexity.
You play it on normal and have fun.
And you could try different weapons, so you had different variety and ways to beat it. And all of a sudden, you get killed by an arbiter or something, or
You get killed by the elite.
by one of the elite.
The
And
brute, a hunter.
it was simple.
When
it
you
was
saw a
great.
hunter, you were scared shitless.
But here's the thing about Halo: is with every Halo, it evolved a little bit more. It added a little bit more.
And then it got
at
to
a
Reach.
certain point, it hit a sweet spot.
It was Reach. I think Reach is when it hit its
And at
sweet
a certain
spot.
other point, it spilled over.
Well,
Where was that?
4.
I'll be right back.
Go
Keep
right
going.
ahead. Well, with my original experience with the original Halo, I didn't get, but in Halo 2, I got more into it. In Halo 2, the combat was still floaty, but I think that floatiness is what made it felt so good. The fact, moving around Master Chief and the Arbiter felt so, what's I'm looking for? Immersive might be the word I'm talking about. You can, let's see, 3 quick ways to kill. Melee, grenade, shoot. Those 3 things combined, you're able to execute all 3 of those instantaneously.
What was interesting about Halo 2 was that it wasn't...
It was rushed.
It wasn't
Rushed.
necessarily
But it
an
was good.
infinite bullet system. You had to pay attention to your bullets. At the same time, you could just ditch whatever you were...
Run away.
If you ran out of something, you could just pick up another gun.
Yeah, you could pick up another gun. You can hit, even if you had a dinky
improvise.
little plasma pistol, that thing is still lethal at
And
full
improvise.
charge.
And you felt...
Improvisation was the key of
And even
Halo.
if you were
Improvisation.
devoid of some certain particular gun, you're like, oh, I may not have the gun I want, but shoot, I can still beat this.
Dude, and then you whip out 2 plasma rifles, and like that's
And
my
you-
favorite combination is plasma
and you
rifles.
waste them, yeah. Or what was also really fun was the different inventive ways you could game the system or beat the system. Like we could get a tank into certain places where it wasn't supposed to go,
using
or
the
you could hijack a wraith and take it into a part of the level you weren't supposed to have it, and you could go to the very top of things. So those type of
Hijacking a
aspects
wraith.
were really, really fun too.
Improvisation was the key of Halo.
That's what made Halo so fun.
Because you only had 2. Here's the thing. Most first-person shooters had limited weapons. You could be 007 and it wielded 10 weapons at once. If you're Duke, you could have all of them. Doom Guy. But for some strange reason, Halo ditched that system for 2 weapons. And I think that 2-weapon system was so strange at first, but it felt so good because if you ran out of weapon, you could pick up another one. Even if it was one you didn't like, it was still decent enough to use. I loved finding me a carbine rifle in Halo 2. It was my favorite weapon in Halo 2. It felt so nice. It was like a plasma rifle from the RX-78.
The other big thing about Halo was because the nature of the game was probably one of the biggest games at the time.
It's
the
Halo
level
2.
itself.
It's hype.
So
was intense.
most levels at that time and before then were small, tight.
But
this
Halo's
level was
world were
wide.
big.
Think about it like
they were huge.
Think about it like this way. Like skiing, we ski. skiing at like one of these places with a wide hill, that's what Halo was like. Because like you could be over here, but you could also go over here, and there's still stuff in all of this place.
Because when you go to...
But you could go in different places. Just like the first level of Halo, you could...
The second level, actually.
For any level in Halo, it's just it's the area itself, the level is so wide, you could take different pathways there, which was different than any other game before that, really.
The cinematic atmosphere in Halo is so amazing, and I had to credit to its music.
And its music.
The music still catches on to me every day.
It's memorable.
It was just so good. The atmosphere, even this.
So
Sergeant Johnson was also
enough.
The relationship between Cortana and the Master Chief. Even though Master Chief was almost silent at first, he still had a personality of some
His
sort.
voice is a great voice.
It's his voice. He felt like another solid snake that we needed.
So enough twirling of the rings here, and how much we love Halo. What's the meat of this video? What are we here to talk about?
What happened to it?
What happened?
Bungie left. After a few... See, Bungie was contracted to Microsoft for many years, but they needed to pump out one final game, and that was Reach. They wanted that to be their final send-off. That's why Reach was so good. They wanted that to be their farewell to Bungie, so they could move on and make Destiny years later.
Destiny. Wow. Aren't they making Anthem? Are they making Anthem, or is that somebody else?
I'm not too sure, actually. But after they made Destiny 2, what are they doing now?
All I know is that there's this game called Anthem coming out. I'm like, who's going to buy this? There's all these other games that are coming out. I'm like, who is going to buy these games? There's some people that are out there trying to find the next IP. It's all about the existing ones. If you find a way to make Halo profitable again and reinvent Halo... That was Gears of War. Actually, that was Gears of War. Gears of War did it. Look at God of War. Did it. God of War reinvented itself. Assassin's Creed did it. Now it's their turn. Well, Legends of Zelda did it.
You gotta give credit to...
A lot of these games are starting to reinvent themselves. But
Halo
has yet to.
It's having an identity crisis of reinventing itself. Mm-hmm. When Halo 4... Here's the thing. When Halo 4 came out, the gameplay was still on par the same. It added sprinting, but I think that was itself trying to mimic COD a little bit because sprinting is now the day and age of first-person shooters. Mm-hmm. However... The problem with Halo 4 was there were still some good things about Halo 4. The relationship between the Chief and Cortana. The Chief had a much bigger role in the fourth game because he was more interactive with the campaign.
What did you like about Halo originally?
The atmosphere and the cheekiness.
I liked
it was
the atmosphere,
slightly self-aware.
I liked those things, but I also liked some of the core mechanics. I liked that I had a shield that would get knocked down, but that would recharge. I liked that I had a finite amount of life that I could reimburse. Mm-hmm. And again, I liked the core gaming. I liked pacing. I liked the pacing. One of my favorite levels was that sniper level where I have to turn on the night vision.
They never brought that back.
They really never brought that back, but that was one of the best levels. It was so cool. That idea
to infiltrate a Covenant ship to save Captain Keyes.
Well, look at that. They had very different games, very different levels. But at a certain point, they started hitting like the same types of levels. Like, oh, here you just got to climb up this mountain and defeat the alien. That's what eventually.
That was Halo 4.
That's essentially what Halo eventually turned into. Where that used to be just like one or two special levels. Was to kind of climb this giant mountain and get there. They had some stealth levels. They had giant levels. They had small levels. They had infiltration down levels. They had up down levels. But then at a certain point, it just kind of became a little too repetitive.
Well, just like you gotta understand, like it wasn't that it was repetitive. It's that it still had a story to tell. And once it got up to a certain point, Bungie knew they were done for a while. Mm-hmm. They wanted to get out of there. Like that's why they did a prequel when they left, because there's no story to tell anymore after the third game. They knew it's best to where to leave it. Master Chief is out in space and. He could be found. He'd most likely be found and just be brought back to Earth, and there it is. But that's probably what they wanted.
Yeah, you're right.
But they're like, don't worry.
It's easily cinched up. It's just
you could just assume that he was found, and there it goes. But however, Microsoft, they made 343 Studios, and now they want we're gonna bring Halo 4 back. Halo 4 is now coming. How can we get people back in? I was hyped for Halo 4 in 2012. I was afraid I wasn't going to play it because, the end of the world. But But the good news was, like,
Thank you, Mayans.
But here's the thing. Halo 4, it was missing something. And I think what it was missing was, one, the music, and the atmosphere was gone. There's no story to tell anymore in Halo 4. The only thing that they could tell was the relationship between the Master Chief and Cortana. That's why it was still good enough on its own as a bonding exercise. And the main enemies in that game were lacking too. It just didn't feel like it was Halo at all. They even changed the Covenant's design. They made the grunts, even though the grunts were like, they're easy little silly enemies, they had some sort of aesthetic value that made them kind of cute, kind of silly, like, look at the little grunt, you gotta punch him and kill him. Like, the new grunts look ugly. The new elites look ugly. The new art style just looks ugly. No one likes ugly things. I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. This is for something later. This is for a different video. So you're saying that the newest music though, and the newest features of Halo when they brought it back was just weak.
It's weak. It just did not have
Didn't feel powerful.
The cinematic appeal of it was gone. The only felt it was with Master Chief and Cortana. Mm-hmm. That is when you felt. That's why people love that scene so much. And at the end of Halo 4, that's where Halo 4. If that's where the Halo series sound was Halo 4, I'd be like kind of disappointed. But an interesting sound because Chief is home. We can rest easy. Who cares about these new aliens? Let's just leave it there. But Microsoft said, no, we're gonna make new Spartans in Halo 5.
What about the other
We're
ones?
going to reuse the
Halo
same
Reach.
boss 4 to 5 times. We're gonna screw over Cortana's entire character. Let's destroy everything that you know and love and flush it down the drain. That's when everything went really downhill with the Halo series. Everything. They even had more. They had microtransactions too. All the aesthetics of it. Were just
aesthetics.
Aesthetics. The multiplayer in Halo was another key component of its success.
It was.
Live made everything special.
You know what's really odd?
We would not have Call of Duty multiplayer if it wasn't for Halo.
You know what's really odd? For how much we think about the successful ideas of Halo multiplayer, they were never able to translate that into the Xbox Live age.
They didn't.
Like,
something was missing.
So I know this with playing online of later Xboxes, it didn't feel like the way
it was lacking butchered names.
It was lacking something. Like imagine if you had the online modes, viable online modes for the first 2 Halos at that time, and with that multiplayer, that would be insane.
You get 8 on 8 players in multiplayer matches.
With those maps,
they get intense.
With those maps, with those classic maps.
You die quickly, but you can always pick yourself back up to get a win.
If
someone had the energy sword, you can always snipe them from a distance. If someone had a shotgun, you could take a battle rifle and snipe his head a few times. If someone had a rocket launcher, you could still avoid a rocket. That's not how rockets work.
There was room for strategy.
It was fun.
There was room
knowing
for
the
teams.
level was fun. Having those teams, the team play. You know what? What's missing in Call of Duty?
Call of Duty or Halo?
Like a team.
Call of Duty or Halo?
I'm talking about Call of Duty.
Okay, now we're moving to
Call
Halo,
of Duty. I actually felt a little bit more like a team.
Yeah.
I felt more like a
when we were on
squad.
Blood Gulch and the 4 of us.
Blood Gulch. When we got with that party 5 on 5 Blood Gulch.
You feel like you're a team more on Halo, and somehow they lost that, and they didn't capitalize on that.
It did feel like that was missing, but. If we're talking about strictly campaign-wise and multiplayer-wise, I feel like those are 2 different sides of the coin.
Absolutely.
The campaign side was fun because you can bring a buddy and do a split screen. In Halo 5, you don't do that anymore. You have to get a second Xbox and copy in order to play 2-player. Woohoo!
Wait, you can't play co-op?
Nope, they took that out.
Criminal.
And the reason why they did that was for the graphical fidelity. This is why AAA games are starting to go down and why indie games are going uphill. Because the graphical fidelity, as graphics increase, they need more money, time to perfect these things.
But yet, these other games are not worried about the graphics.
They're not indie games.
They're worried about
they care about if it looks good.
They're worried. No, they're worried about the mechanics. Those games are way more about...
Indie is about mechanics, having fun. AAA games are not about fun anymore. It's about cookie cutter, game addicting, self-fulfilling prophecies are going to end you in doom.
To me, it's like what you see in Fortnite, even though I love Fortnite. It's just like, how many types of different Skittles can we fit on this skin? Like, we have a red Skittle, we have an orange Skittle, we have a green Skittle, we have a purple Skittle. That appeals to everybody.
What about the blue Skittle?
We got a blue Skittle right there.
Thank
Boom.
you.
Boom. Blue Skittle. And now we got Skittles for everybody, and now it's appealing. Mass market that.
Everyone...
Sell it. Sell it. Sell it.
Everyone gets a colored Skittle.
Everybody gets
You get a colored Skittle. You get a colored Skittle. This one is a black Skittle.
It's all meant to just prey upon us as gamers. That's what it is. It's all just meant to prey upon us.
Appealing to all of us.
And at a certain point, Halo lost that idea of what they did good. What made us go to Halo. What made us be like, I want to put in Halo because I don't get that experience anywhere else.
I think you have to understand, as we grew up, the audience, we grew up, James, but new gamers these days, I think there's something, they're different from us.
Well, there's so many new gamers across the world. It's not just, I mean, it's hard to just typify them
if I were to give,
because you and I, just as gamers, think about us, we're so very different.
I got so many different games up my belt. I can say what are my favorites, what are my favorite genres. I have so many.
You played that lawyer game. I've never played that.
No one played the lawyer game.
What is that lawyer game?
Phoenix Wright.
That's what I'm saying.
No one played the lawyer.
But
people watch the lawyer game and make fun of it.
I played Tetris.
I never played Tetris.
I know! Think about that!
I never played Tetris in my life because I always thought, what is this? This was fun back then, a game that never ends?
I hated Tetris.
Boring.
But Jill, yeah.
But but back then, Tetris was amazing. It's so, like, I think it was like 30 million copies? It could have been more than that. It was a Game Boy game that you could have and it'll never end. It's a game that never ends.
I love the Mario game that had with the coins and I had to collect some coins.
Every Mario game had coins.
I don't know, but I had to,
did it?
It was a certain Mario game. I had to go around with islands or something. And
Mario World, Mario Land, Super Mario Land. It might have been one of the first ones. It was amazing. One of the best levels was when you nearly beat the game. You got to finally go into space and you're like jumping around. It's just a fun game. Super Mario Land 2.
Wait, we were talking about though was not any of these games.
All right. So anyway, but back to Halo. I guess
it's about Halo. How do you fix Halo?
The era. We had to fix the era, but you can't fix an era. Times change, and I think what really happens here is once Bungie left.
Sorry about the tangent there, folks.
But once Bungie left, they knew that was the height of Halo. Nothing lasts forever, James.
No.
But for other games like Legend of Zelda and Mario, they can always reinvent themselves.
Mario does last forever.
They can reinvent themselves.
So I guess it's not true.
I don't think you can reinvent Halo. Instead, we have Call of Duty, we have Battlefield. There are derivatives from Halo.
What if Halo...
Regenerating
What
health.
if Halo beat Fortnite to the idea?
What do you mean?
Of Last Man Standing. Halo could have been there.
Actually... Was there a Last Man Standing?
Yeah,
there was a Last Man Standing. There was a Last Man Standing mode in Halo.
But what
not on a large
did
scale.
was they were able to deliver that on such a large scale like nobody else could.
And it was free. It was accessible. It was accessible.
100 different. You're playing against 99 different people, and you could win.
Mm-hmm. Wow, times.
That's definitely different.
James, I feel old.
So Halo fell behind.
It fell. Well,
and then it just couldn't compete.
You know what? It fell behind because times are changing and Bungie knew where it left it, and I think that's what happened. And then Microsoft decided, hey, let's make 343, try to recreate Halo to make 4 and 5 and now almost 6, and they can't do it. They're rushing their games. They don't know what the spark of Halo is. They don't understand their multiplayer anymore. They're doing microtransactions. That is what happened.
I think that's about it.
Wow, I'm depressed now.
No, damn, we gotta flip this over. Let's move on to something else. Well, check out another episode because that's probably where we're gonna go.
Thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much for watching. I'll say it again. Thank you very much for watching. Should I say it a fourth time?
Toss us a like if you enjoyed the conversation. Toss us a like if you enjoyed Halo. I mean,
talk about what you like about Halo.
And toss it in the comments
below. What do you think when it lost?
Ask any questions you got there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyway,
what questions do you have to the commenters?
Okay, one question I would like to say. What was your favorite butchered tag name when you were playing Halo? What was one butchered tag name?
That's a good, funny question.
My favorite one is Snipeyoshit.
Yeah, these answers might get censored. All right, go boys and
Thank
girls.
you
Hustle
very
like
much.
you enjoyed this conversation. We'll see you guys later for another episode of Splitting Wires.
All right, signing off. Bye-bye.
Bye.